The Jets win. Are the Dolphins or the Ravens actually back after they both won last week? And can anybody stop the Kansas City Chiefs? This is Twin Football. Thank you very much for joining us. Week 8 is in the books. Week 9 is here, and Jacob is also here. Welcome back. We needed you for our picks and predictions. But before we get into that, Jacob, the trade deadline, Tuesday next week. Anyone that you are hoping gets a trade before Tuesday?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this for a little bit now. Myles Garrett. I really would love to see Myles Garrett.
Garrett.
5 sacks in one game. Myles Garrett get a trade before the deadline. If you're a team that wants to win the Super Bowl right now, why not go out and try to snipe him? He's clearly disgruntled on the Browns, throwing his helmet after that performance against the Patriots. I think it would be perfect for a team like the Niners, even like the Seahawks, who are battling for a playoff spot, to go out and pick up such a great talent. I don't think he's going to leave Cleveland, but I think it would be absolutely amazing for someone to pick him up. I think it could really help them push for a
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
We talk about Micah Parsons going to Green Bay before the season and how that
Change their team. Yep.
change their team. Someone else doing that for a guy like Myles Garrett, 5 sacks. How many teams have lost when one player got 5 sacks in a single game? Absolute insane performance, and yet they were unable to get the win against the Patriots. We have week 9 picks and predictions, so let's go ahead and dive straight into it. Again, we do all of our picks and predictions for the NFL every Wednesday on ESPN.com. Go ahead, make your account, pick along with us. We are just passing the midway point here in the NFL season, week 9. We have a 75-44 record. So when we get all 14 picks this week correct, we will be at 89-44. That is not too bad. And so let's go ahead and dive in with the Thursday night game. Jacob, Baltimore and the Dolphins both won last week, both turning around their seasons possibly. Who do you got in this Thursday night matchup?
A few weeks ago, if you looked at the schedule and saw this one, you'd probably say I'm skipping that Thursday night game. Definitely not anymore. Both these teams have the chance to have turned a corner this past weekend with great performances, and Lamar Jackson's back. The Thursday night games have been really solid this year. Last week's wasn't so competitive, but other than that, they've been really good games, and I expect this one to be on par with that. The Ravens are coming off a solid win against the Bears with Tyler Huntley under center.
Snoop.
Ravens are under criticism for violating the league's injury report rules. They did not disclose that Lamar Jackson was in fact still injured. Just to this conniving plan to unleash their secret weapon in Tyler Huntley. It's a little sad that the Bears are complaining about this after losing to a backup quarterback. Ravens definitely need to have a slap on the wrist for this, but this is the biggest non-issue that everyone's talking about that I've heard in some time. Lamar Jackson is back this week though, and the Ravens will be desperate to go on a little run here. Somehow they are only 2 games behind first place Steelers in the AFC North after they slipped up a little bit in the last few weeks. They've got some very winnable games, the Ravens do, the next 4 weeks, with each opponent having a losing record. There's a very real chance that the Ravens could save their season, but they have to get it together right now, and they have to play their best football right now. The Dolphins are coming off their biggest win of the season against the Falcons. Michael Penix Jr. was injured for that one, but offensively, the Dolphins look really solid against a decent defense. Kirk Cousins is better than most backups in the league, so the Dolphins will be happy about that win. Tua Tagovailoa, yeah, he is. He's also looking for a trade if anyone wants him. I think it would be great for a team to pick him up. I don't think it's going to happen. He's going to have to go a Joe Flacco route, but I still believe in Kirk. I love that guy. Tua Tagovailoa, after his worst game of the season against the Browns, throws for 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He did have some luck, basically tossing it straight to the Falcons D-line on one play, but somehow they weren't able to catch it, even though he basically handed it to them. He's had some bad luck this season, though, so I guess it was due. Achane still looking super solid. He's been their rock this entire season, pretty much the only one performing game in, game out. Biggest thing was Mike McDaniel's plan to shut down Bijan Robinson and to not let that guy beat him. They did that super well, and McDaniel has saved his job for now. Again, a few weeks ago, this looked like it was going to be a really bad game. Both teams might be back, though. They'll be desperate for a win. Lamar Jackson, MVP, is back. I'm going Ravens.
Ravens to get 2 wins on the bounce. Are they your favorites now in the AFC North? If they get a win here on Thursday, Lamar comes back, finishes the game healthy.
Yeah, I'm going to cop out and say if they win on Thursday and not say that too soon, but they're way better than the Steelers, in my opinion, just as an overall team. So I do think that Mike Tomlin's a little nervous right now.
Yeah, the schedules also would favor the Ravens. The Bears will take on a Bengals team that gave the Jets their first win of the season. This game is really going to be all about whose defense isn't as bad. Both of these teams let up 30 plus points last week. Both of these teams are bottom 5 in terms of rush and pass yards per play against that defense. There is going to be points, I think, in this one. The one concern here for the Bengals offense is whether or not Joe Flacco is going to be healthy. He is right now 50-50 that he will start this weekend. And I think that is a big reason why I'm actually going to lean the Chicago Bears. Now, the one interesting stat going into this game is the fact that Caleb Williams has not won a professional football game where his defense didn't get 2 or more turnovers. In the 4 wins this year, they haven't won a game where the defense hasn't gotten 3 or more turnovers. The one plus is if Joe Flacco doesn't play, Jake Browning is guaranteed 3 interceptions in this game. So give me the Bears. If Joe Flacco does play, I think I might lean Bengals here. Trey Hendrickson has also been dealing with a hip issue. He missed the second half of last week's game. The Jets scored 26 points in the second half with him off the field. Obviously, he is that entire defense, putting pressure on the quarterback, going to make Caleb Williams uncomfortable if he's able to go. If Joe Flacco and Trey Hendrickson both play, I like the Bengals right now because it looks like both of them may be leaning out. I like that defense, not Caleb Williams. Big distinction. I like the defense to be the reason that the Bears get the win here in 2 of the worst defenses in the NFL.
And next up, we've got the Vikings taking on the Lions. The Vikings are coming off a really tough Thursday night loss against the Chargers. Carson Wentz was playing with a dislocated shoulder pretty much the whole game. He's done for the season. He's going to get season-ending shoulder surgery, and he might be done for his career. I don't know how they kept him in the game that long. If he was telling Kevin O'Connell to keep him in because JJ McCarthy's coming back anyway. I don't know. He wasn't really happy on the sidelines and looked like a sad game. They're really being careful with rushing JJ McCarthy back since he's already had 2 pretty serious injuries in his young career. But it does look like he will make the return to the starting lineup against a scary Lions defense. The Lions are coming off a bye week, and before that, they had a super convincing win against the Buccaneers. Jahmyr Gibbs looked like the best player in the league that game, and to do it against Vita Vea and the Bucs run defense makes it so much more impressive. Aiden Hutchinson is playing like the defensive player of the year under new DC Kelvin Shepard. Jared Goff is playing mistake-free football. It's hard to find a flaw in this team right now, but they need this win to stay on pace with the Packers, and I think they pull it off at home. I'm going Lions.
Yes, what a great division that is. Detroit improves to 6-2, putting pressure on the current 5-1-1 Green Bay Packers, but they get to welcome Carolina into Lambeau this weekend to see if they can maintain control over the NFC North. And I think they will. I think this is going to be quite easy. You got Kraft Yak and Cheese out there, 100+ yards in back-to-back games for the tight end. He catches it. He stiff arms. It's over for everyone. Carolina's run defense was fantastic going into last week before James Cook absolutely shredded them. I don't know what version of that defensive line we're going to get here in Lambeau, but you're going against Josh Jacobs and that great pass attack to make sure you're not loading the box. I think Green Bay is going to hurt Carolina in too many different ways. And that offense from Carolina, Bryce Young will be back in the fold. Rico Dowdle will be the mainstay back going into this weekend, but I just don't think it's going to be enough on the offensive side of the ball to beat the Packers, especially in Lambeau.
Who knows what's going to happen with the NFC North the rest of the season after the Lions start the season with a really bad loss against the Packers. They've rebounded in a big way, and they honestly look stronger than the Packers right now. I'm just hoping that they stay on pace with each other until their next matchup. That's going to be a playoff type atmosphere, and I can't wait for it. Next up, we have the Chargers taking on the Titans. The Chargers are coming off that big win against the Vikings on Thursday Night Football. Vidal took a couple weeks to get going, but wearing the OG Chargers jerseys, he gave his best LaDainian Tomlinson impression. Justin Herbert looked like how he did in the beginning of the season. Although the Chargers have leaned on Herbert more this season, the offense still relies on the run game to help open up the play action, and Herbert honestly needs that to give him more space. I think he's an elite quarterback, but he has struggled against defenses when he doesn't have a run game to help open up some of the pass. Oronde Gadsden coming out of nowhere with a couple big games and scores in the last two. He's another young, talented tight end in the league. Justin Herbert is not hurting for talent around him. Someone who is hurting for talent around him is Cam Ward. The Titans are coming off a tough loss against the Colts. Cam Ward didn't look horrible, but he just doesn't have a lot of help around him. Their run game has almost been non-existent. Tyler Lockett was released and just signed with the Raiders. Calvin Ridley looks like he might be traded soon. This year is looking more and more like a growth year for Cam Ward, and probably tanking towards the end to get some weapons for him. I'm going Chargers in this one.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised that 2% here on ESPN picked the Titans. I agree with you. Chargers all the way in this one. Next up, you have the Falcons traveling up north there to take on the Patriots. Now, going into last week, Falcons were at home to the Dolphins. Everyone thought that's not really a big test. They're going to blow them out. They lost. The Patriots welcomed the Browns. I came on here on Twin Football and I said how that defense is going to cause the Patriots trouble. They did in the first half. And I actually picked the Browns to go ahead and win that because it was going to be too big of a test for this young Patriots team. And they won that game. So based on all of that, you would expect me to go Patriots here this week. Well, you're wrong because I'm going the Falcons. And I'll tell you why. The Patriots have 6 wins, right? Some good wins. Obviously, you beat Buffalo and stuff like that. But they have 5 wins against the league's bottom 7 passing offenses, right? Carolina, the Browns, the Saints, Tennessee, and the Dolphins. All right. All bottom 7 in terms of yards per completed pass, right? So how far are you throwing it down the field? If you watch that game against the Browns, obviously that pass, the defense for the Patriots were doing pretty well, but every pass it seemed like from Dylan Gabriel was behind the line of scrimmage, little dunk downs. They weren't expanding the offense. They weren't letting him pass down the field. They weren't letting him throw. When they did was really at the end of the game when the game was already over, and a little bit on their touchdown drive over the middle to the tight end, down the sideline as well. And you're welcoming back Michael Penix Jr. here for the Atlanta Falcons. You have Bijan Robinson in midweek here coming out and saying that they have to stop being good one week, bad another week. You have the head coach saying we just weren't ready for the Miami Dolphins. I don't know really what you can take out of that besides the fact that they're going to refocus hopefully this week, be ready here to go up north to take on a 6-2 Patriots team with some MVP chatter around Drake May. But Michael Penix loves to throw the football. They are a top 10 passing offense when Michael Penix and Drake London are both in the lineup. I think they both will be this week. I like them to exploit the Patriots down the field. The secondary for the Atlanta Falcons is very good as well. So I think that's going to help limit the Patriots. The big question for all Patriots fans is, will Trevion Henderson, who fumbled for the first time since high school at the end of the game last week, is he going to be benched like Ramondre Stevenson was earlier on in the season after his best performance this week, over 70 yards for Henderson? But is he going to get benched? Is that going to hurt the run game? Are they going to want to pass more? Are they going to be able to against this Atlanta Falcons secondary? I like the Falcons to go in with that passing attack. Give me the Falcons.
Yeah, I think you believe in the Falcons a little bit more than me, but Patriots at 7-2 seems a little crazy. I could see that one going either way.
I don't believe in Kirk Cousins, so there's that.
I do. Next up, we have the 49ers taking on the Giants. The 49ers are coming off a super tough loss against a not so great Texans team. They dug a big hole in the first half. They just couldn't get out of. It took them almost the entire first half to get their first down. They had yet another injury blow. D. Winters, who stepped up in a big way after Fred Warner injured his knee, went down in the fourth quarter. He left the game after returning for a little bit. Looks like Brandon Ayuk's return has also been delayed for a bit. They just can't catch a break. You can't help to think how different this season could have been with better injury luck. Feels like only a matter of time until CMC gets injured with how insane his usage has been. It's been more than anyone else in the NFL. I love Kyle Shanahan, but he just doesn't seem to learn how to throttle his usage of his stars during the regular season. I don't really understand that one. George Kittle has been huge, though, since coming back from injury. His first game, he had 0 receptions, but he might have been the best player, just opening up CMC. CMC is an absolute monster with him on the field. He was shut down, though, against a good Texans defense. The Giants are coming off a tough loss against the Eagles after just beating them a few weeks ago. The Niners aren't the only ones with injury issues. Cam Scadaboo, the breakout rookie, dislocated his ankle, and he's since had surgery on that ankle. You got to feel bad for Jackson Dart losing his 2 best weapons in Malik Neighbors and now Scadaboo already. That Broncos comeback really killed the momentum of this Giants team season, and now losing Scadaboo, it looks like their fairy tale for the season might be over. Still a lot to look forward to if you're a Giants fan, and if I'm a Giants fan, I'm way happier than I've been in a while. They've got stuff to look forward to, but I don't see it happening this season. For a second, you thought that they might make a playoff run. That Scadaboo 3 touchdown game. Honestly, I could see this game going either way. The 49ers are still so banged up, but I'm going to pick them.
Yeah, what a matchup this could have been if everyone was healthy, but definitely 2 injury-plagued teams. The Niners improving to 6-3 on the season with all of those injuries. A great coaching job, especially on the defensive side of the football. That cannot be said for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Since their bye week, they beat the Browns. Great. They only allowed 9 points to the Browns, but we've seen what the Browns have been able to do over the last couple of weeks. Then they've let up 30 plus points in their last 2 games, and they are bottom 3 in missed tackles. They've only played 7 games. All these other teams have played 8 games. Most teams have played 8 games because they've already had their bye. And they are bottom 3 in missed tackles. And now they get to go against one of the best offenses in all of the NFL, scoring 30 plus points regularly in the Indianapolis Colts. The Pittsburgh Steelers also gave so many yards after the catch to Tucker Kraft last week, and now they get Jonathan Taylor out in space. They get Tyler Warren out in space. I think the Colts take this one easily. But Mike Tomlin did come out and say the first way to fix the problem with the defense is acknowledge that there is a problem. So maybe that'll fix it. I don't think so. Give me the Colts.
Man, what a season for the Colts so far. I got to say, they're feeling more and more like the Vikings last season, like super good regular season, but in the back of your head, you're
Can they do it in
wondering
the
how
playoffs?
good. Yeah. And I can see it kind of going that way. I've been doubting them all year, though, so maybe I'm just being a hater. Next up, we have the Broncos taking on the Texans. The Broncos are coming off a absolute dominating win against the Cowboys. Surtain and that secondary completely shut down Dak Prescott, who was talked about in an MVP conversation. They intercepted him twice. Bo Nix with his game of the season, and J.K. Dobbins with a super solid game, over 100 yards. When the Broncos play like that, they look like a serious contender. They now sit 6-2 on the season. It's just another complete team. The Texans are coming off arguably their most impressive win of the season. All of a sudden, the Texans have won 3 of their last 4 after a horrible start to the season. CJ Stroud finally looked like his old self. Kind of crazy. His best game was without Nico Collins. Collins is still dealing with that concussion and hasn't practiced yet this week. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. CJ Stroud doesn't feel the need to force it to his star receiver. I can't explain it. Looks like it's only a matter of time until Woody Marks is number 1 on the depth chart for them. He's been a lot more effective than Nick Chubb, who hasn't looked the same since his injury. Broncos are just looking too good right now. I'm going Broncos.
Yeah, they finally got that offense to click for all 4 quarters. And when that happens and that defense is playing to the elite level that it can, it is over for most teams. 7-2 for the Broncos, keeping pace with the Indianapolis Colts. The Jaguars are trying to keep up with the Colts within the same division, but I don't think they will when it's all said and done. But luckily for them, they get the Raiders this week, 2 teams that we might not be talking much about unless they were both playing each other. To be totally honest with you, both of them coming off of a bye, both of them getting their teeth kicked in recent weeks. The Jacksonville Jaguars have given up, after beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead, they have given up 7 sacks in 2 consecutive games and scored a combined 19 points across both of those games. The offensive line, the play calling, The decision making just went completely out of the window after they scored 31 on the Chiefs. Granted, pick 6 in that, so 24 points from the offensive side of the football. And now they get to travel to Maxx Crosby and the Raiders, who, in my opinion, is the one guy, like you mentioned, Myles Garrett. I would love to see Maxx Crosby traded. I'd love to see him go, maybe join a team that is actually going to be contending, possibly just as that extra piece to give him that little edge, that mentality. I think he's going to have a monster game against this Jaguars offensive line. They are coming off of a bye, so maybe they fixed some of the issues that they were having. Maybe Trevor Lawrence is going to not hold on to the football as much. I still think he's going to get 2+ sacks in this one. And the only question is the same question I had for the Bears versus the Bengals. Will the Jaguars defense get enough turnovers to help this offense? Because that is the thing that they've been relying on every single week. It seems like they need to get turnovers in order to get this offense moving the football, short fields, get them going. And I can't do it. Give me the Raiders. Give me the Raiders. I'm just going to give you the Raiders. Are the Jags the most overrated 4-win team in the NFL right now? It's possible.
They're the most overrated team in the NFL right now.
You're just going to say it right there, straight up. Give me the Raiders at home off of a bye. Maxx Crosby, not 2+ sacks. Give me 4 sacks for Maxx Crosby in a dominant performance.
Hopefully Geno Smith doesn't throw 17 interceptions.
That's the biggest problem. He's thrown 7 interceptions in the 3 home games. Can he just not turn the ball over? Finally.
One game, Geno. Next up, we have Saints taking on the Rams. The Saints are coming off a bad loss against a really solid Buccaneers team. Spencer Rattler now has double the amount of interceptions as touchdowns in the past 2 games. He was benched in the third quarter for rookie quarterback Tyler Shugg. The offense could not get anything going with either QB. It's actually kind of crazy how similar their stats were in the game. They both had about 130 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. Kellen Moore has decided that enough is enough, and Tyler Shugg will get the start under center. You can't really blame him for doing that after a 1-7 start. I don't think it's going to be a Jackson Dart story. I expect it to be more of the same, but you can't blame the coaching staff for trying something. The Rams are coming off the bye week, and before that, a dominating win over the Jaguars. They've really rebounded after that devastating 49ers loss in overtime. They've only let up 10 points in the last 2 games combined. They will want to continue that before they play the Niners in Santa Clara next week. NFC West has 3 teams with 5 wins, so it's completely up for grabs. The Rams are expecting Puka Nacua to play after going out injured in the Ravens game. He's as tough as anyone in the NFL. I got nothing but Rams in this one.
Yeah, I think 1% is too high. I'm sure it's a rounding error. It might just be one person that picked the Saints here in this one. The Rams at home off a bye. Definitely a Ram victory. The game of the week, most likely, the Chiefs versus the Bills. We talked in all of these other games about stats, trying to get some insight over the middle. Who's passing over the middle? Where can you exploit these different teams? And you just throw all of that out the window when these 2 teams play, especially in the regular season. Jacob, I'm going to show you 3 game summaries basically from the last 3 times that these teams played. Who do you think won this game? Kansas City versus Buffalo. Buffalo, more yards, 15 minutes more possession, 6 more first downs, 0 turnovers, won the turnover game. Who do you think won that game?
Pat Mahomes.
This game, Kansas City against Buffalo, total yards, Buffalo, possession, Buffalo, first downs, Buffalo, turnovers, Buffalo. Who do you think won that game?
Probably Patrick Mahomes.
Buffalo versus Kansas City. Buffalo, more yards. Buffalo, higher possession. Buffalo, win the turnover margin. Who do you think won that game?
Gonna go Patrick Mahomes in that one.
Patrick Mahomes 2-1 in these last 3 games, and it doesn't matter. James Cook had one of the best performances of the week last week, 19 carries, over 200 yards. That run game is going to push the Chiefs all over the field. The Chiefs are arguably one of the hottest teams now ever since they got all their complement of wide receivers back. They just seem unbeatable overall. And I just don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Chiefs are going to win if the Bills play well. If the Bills play badly, the Chiefs might still win. Give me Buffalo. Give me Buffalo. They're going to outplay them. They're going to win the regular season. They're going to win one. They have to win one. I'm just doing it off the fact that Josh Allen wins these games in the regular season and Patrick Mahomes wins them in the postseason. And there's no statistical analysis here. There's none. I can't give you any because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense why the Chiefs always win. The Chiefs are probably going to win this one, but give me the Bills.
Fair enough.
Give me the
Who
Bills.
knows? I just can't wait to watch it. Next up, we have the Seahawks taking on the Commanders. The Seahawks are coming off the bye week, and before that, a win on Monday Night Football against the Texans. They're quietly having a super solid season and are tied in first in the NFC West. JSN has emerged as a superstar since the second half of last season. He's filled in nicely for that DK Metcalf trade. Sam Darnold is 100% a starting quarterback in this league. There's no doubt about that at this point. And the Seahawks defense has done a fantastic job keeping them in every game. Both games they lost this season were one-score games, less than a touchdown. If they can figure out their run game, they're going to be serious contenders. I do think they need to figure that out. The O-line needs to do a little bit better to open up some holes. Commanders are coming off a tough loss against a rolling Chiefs team. Marcus Mariota looked decent, but they will be begging for Jaden Daniels to come back. McLaurin was not very involved in that game, but had a couple unbelievable catches. Looks like the star receiver is dealing with a quad injury. Jaden Daniels and him are swapping spots on the injury report, and it looks like Daniels will go this weekend. The Commanders are another team that are so unlucky to not have their stars healthy at the same time. You have to say that Jaden is clearly the most important one on this team to stay healthy. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt has established himself as the clear RB1 on this team. What a great story he's been after getting drafted in the 7th round. Bill was shut down by Spags and that Chiefs defense, but he's really proved himself this season, and you got to be happy for him. I think the Commanders bounce back here with a little boost with their star quarterback back. Seahawks are a solid team. It's going to be a really good game. I'm going Commanders, though.
Yeah, what a game. If it wasn't for Chiefs Bills, this might be the game of the week for me. Seattle at Washington. I think this game here, Monday Night Football in Dallas, we're not going to have that 4:00 kickoff Eastern time with the sun glare in Dallas again, because this is going to be a night game, which is fantastic. But I think besides that, this is actually going to be a very good game. Arizona might have two of the best losses in the last 3 weeks. Obviously, they're coming off of their bye for this one, but over the last 3 weeks, they lost away to Indianapolis by 4, and they lost at home to Green Bay by 4. Both games, they were actually leading going into the fourth quarter and then blew the lead there late. And that was all with a backup quarterback in Jacoby Brissett. Obviously, Jacoby Brissett, been around the league, is a capable quarterback to come in. But still, you welcome back Kyler Murray after his foot injury. Hopefully he's going to be ready to go. You come after a bye, get more cohesive in terms of the offense. Marvin Harrison Jr. has been doing well over the last couple of weeks, putting in more and more performances in his second year. And they go against the Dallas Cowboys defense that is bottom 10 in the league. I think Arizona can put up points. The only question is, can their secondary keep a Dallas Cowboys offense from scoring 40 plus points, which they've done in every single home game this year, including against one of the top 2 pass defense in the league in this young season in the Green Bay Packers. They put up 40. Yes, it was in overtime, but still, I like the Cowboys to just have too much at home here for Arizona. But I think this one is going down to the wire and is going to be, when it's all said and done, one of the games of the week, just maybe not on paper going into it. But there you have it, all 14 of our picks here on Twin Football. That is week 9 picks and predictions in the books. We got Premier League picks and predictions coming later on this week. This is Twin Football. Thank you very much for joining us. And remember, enjoy the football.